We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It was a bit of a rough go of it for XSET, but there were glimpses. There were hopes and dreams, maybe, that haven't fully been dashed just yet. And even if they were to lose this best of three, they get to play again in another match later on today. In terms of the first pick, honestly, Potter, you couldn't really have asked for a worse team than VP. Off the back of some crazy performances, obviously a Flashpoint success. I was impressed, though, in parts. I think mechanically, XSET can definitely hang. And I think VP, on Vertigo, they may be susceptible to getting run over a little bit here. This could be closer, maybe.
Maybe. There's always a chance, right? Vertigo is kind of one of those wild maps that anything can happen, especially towards that A ramp. We know how duel heavy it is, but Buster is just looking so top-notch right now. We saw it at Flashpoint 2 as well. He was the heavy hitter for Virtus.pro, and coming onto this Vertigo, he's the lone B defender. When he's busting out that secondary AWP, VP just turn it into another gear. They go up to another notch. So for XSET, I hope that they have some sort of gimmicky game plan to make Buster uncomfortable, because if they're not able to put towards that B pressure, they're not going to get anything done towards A.
That's definitely a fair point. And speaking of Buster as well, you look at his stats from that first map, 26 kills, 10 deaths, 100 ADR, 1.86 rating. I don't think the stats could really have proved your point any more there, Potter. I mean, you're pretty much dead on. They have to deal with that threat badly.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, even when we think about Virtus.pro, when we think about their A, Yakindar, he's such a beast towards that sandbag area. And VP, we talk about their layers. They just have so many different looks for them. If they're not feeling the aggression, they're feeling a little bit more passive play. They've got layers in that aspect as well. So for XSET, again, things just get tougher and tougher. So the ideas and the theory is there, but for Vertigo, they need to bring up something different, I think, Vince.
I agree. I'd like to see them take the initiative a little bit more. At the end of the day, you don't really have anything to lose. You know, we heard from Mimi, so likable, by the way, in that pre-game interview, basically saying, look, we know we're the underdogs, but this is a game that does sometimes favor the underdogs. You know, you can never fully count them out. And if the pressure is off our shoulders, no one really expects us to do anything. That's sometimes where you get the best and biggest performances. So we'll have to see how it works for them. This time they're starting on the T side. The CT side seemed a little bit stale and stagnant at parts. So let's see if they can really take control over the situation. The Kindar has been forced on the back foot. James goes back in for another peek. Doesn't quite land the shot he was hoping for. And so XSET have not hemorrhaged any casualties as of yet. And they've picked up the first kill. They got both pistols on Dust 2. Can they really get 3 out of 3?
Oh, I'd be surprised. But, you know, they're going for that 4 out of 4 even right now, Vince. And they've got a lot of utility. Look at this 2 HE grenades. Mimi and Zaz peeking out, and Yakindar gets taken out as well. This is a 5 versus 3. We've seen this play out before, though, Vince. We've seen VP being down numbers, and they're just able to somehow come back. So XSET, they need to make sure they keep this clean and polished. Both smokes are going to go out onto this A bomb site, and both HE grenades don't do any damage.
No, it does afford them the luxury, though, of getting the plant down. Forces VP on the back foot. They've respected this prowess. They've already lost 2 heads. They don't want to make it anymore. There is a kit down, but it's in an awkward position out towards the sandbags. So VP would have to regain control of so many areas before they even got their hands on it. This is looking better and better for XSET with every passing second. But now the frag's starting to come back in for VP before Zaz puts down the hammer with the Glock. Kicker springs into action with 2 more kills. But this is where the lack of the kit's the issue. They have to go looking for it. It's another frag, and they're going to get the full defuse potentially in amongst the smoke. Everyone's down from XSET. Do they have time? This is going to be incredibly close, but they get it done. Successful retake. That's going to be a heartbreak for XSET.
So close, Vince, so close. But VP finally, they break the curse. No longer are we potentially going to see a 4-0 for those pistol rounds. VP coming in hot, and they're able to convert again one of those man-down advantages, this time a 2 versus 4 post-plant. XSET, they look like they had everything going their way. But that plant is going to afford them some utility and some pistols coming into this round. I'm surprised not to see a full AK purchase coming through. But Buster, he's going to sniff out with the MP9, getting a perfect pop flash from his teammate and just farming that money, Vince.
3 kills. That is money in the bank, Potter. He is a very rich man right now. All 4 kills that VP have picked up have been at the hands of the MP9. Make that all 5. And although they do lose 2 players, easily replenishing those lost weapons. However, XSET didn't go for that full AK purchase, so now they're given the opportunity to go for it now. And it will be a very solid one at that.
Good response coming through for VP as well. They're immediately upgrading, noticing that XSET was conservative that time around and only Sanji with the MP9. But of course, that's his comfort gun, right? That's definitely where Sanji wants to be. It seems like Giuliano's gonna try to test her hand towards this A ramp, and Petra does get some shots off, but that scoped AUG coming through for Yakindar finds himself 2 kills, and he's just gonna run out of there, Vince.
He is peacing out. He's done his damage. He's low on 22. He wants to make sure he can keep that economy as sharp as possible. XSET lose another as Giuliano walks out. It looks a bit disjointed. Now Zaz has got an opening pick, but look at the vast difference in positions between the last 2 Ts. Even with that opening pick and B site potentially falling, now it's been bolstered up and enough time has elapsed. With Zaz waiting for Mimi to join alongside her, that Sanji with the aforementioned MP9 now joined by multiple teammates. Lots of damage inflicted on both sides. They should be okay with even a post plant coming in as long as they can get the successful retake in effect. More damage done with HEs being tossed in. And this is where the jaws should come locked down. But Mimi, 2 huge headshots on the side, at least making this costly for VP and showing us again that XSET's aim is on point. Unfortunately, though, they can't quite get it done at a 2v4, and VP will have a 3-0 lead.
Zaz with a good opening onto Buster, but because Buster had already dinked her down, she didn't have the HP to work with to make that post plant even more interesting. But you're right, Vince, those were some nice shots coming out from Mimi. Yakindar just so confident, taking those deep, long lines down A ramp and just finding himself 2 opening kills with the AUG. Made this round a lot more difficult for XSET in the beginning than it could have been. Some early pop flashes coming up for Petra. But once again, XSET are going to have to deal with this AUG. They need some sort of an answer or some amazing pop flashes to just push him off that angle. And Buster is even very forward. Again, we see a deja vu, that pop flash coming through and Zaz gets taken out. Petra's already really low. And VP, their man advantage once again. These beginning stages for VP have just looked so sharp.
They have, and XSET seem like they're running out of ideas on these approaches towards B. Typically, teams will toss a flashbang over through the little gap in the wall. Lands right in the eyes of those upper positions, and they'll make the most of that. XSET have brute forced their way onto the site, but it's at the cost of 2 more lives. And although the molly is good towards the back of the pillar, it has been extinguished from the smoke of Kicker, who can just stay in that same spot. 22 HP remains, so if he gets tagged one more time to these AKs, he should go down. But that just feels like it's a drop in the ocean, because VP very likely will be picking up a 4-0, which looks even more likely now that James has just gone for a quick flip onto Krasny. Giuliano, we saw some lightning fast headshots over on Dust 2 long side. We know that her aim certainly will not let her down, but the positioning does, and the fact that she's against the entire world by herself does put us into that 4-0 start. And I'm getting a little bit worried already for XSET here, Potter, because a lot of their success they got on Dust 2 was after getting pistol rounds. They've been unable to do that.
Yeah, definitely unable to do that. Money is also tight, and I'm also worried about these beginning stages as well. There need to be some sort of set pieces with utility to push Buster off or push Yakindar off. Right now, XSET are just getting bullied from these B stairs and also from the A ramp. Buster even going for more. A little bit more passive from XSET coming through this time, though, and Yakindar, he's just farming. He's farming, Vince.
Farming against the half buy on XSET as they walk up ramp together without any flashes or smokes. They didn't have any left. They tossed the early ones over onto B. And again, this is that disjointed approach that we were kind of touching on before. It's a clean sweep. VP's money is now spiraling out of control. Yakinda nearly $10,000 to his name. XSET will be able to afford another purchase. And it's interesting to see that it's going to be Petra with the AWP again. Now, we kind of touched on this before on Dust 2, that it seemed like Giuliano was the primary for Dust 2. But over on Vertigo, it's back to the usual.
Back onto the back of Petra. It does seem like she's trying her hand very fast to try to find that opening pick. And Giuliano gets picked off, giving a little bit more to James than she wanted, but Petra hasn't answered. This time, Yakindar has been taken down. Too many times he's peeked, but Buster has all full control of this B stairs, and oh, he gets pushed off. A little bit unfortunate on the timing there. Zaz finds it. Oh, Buster is so confident right now, though.
Yeah, after those 26 kills he picked up on Dust 2, understandably so. How many times already, Potter, have we seen XSET get towards that lower B area and then be unable to do anything with it? It's only half the struggle getting in. Jane, that flick is lightning fast, and Krasi could do nothing as she catches the shot. Now, with just shy of a minute on the clock, XSET find themselves in familiar territory. A player behind, with Jane on the hunt. That's the bomb that goes down with Mimi on side, putting even more pressure, even more hurdles and obstacles in the way of XSET. And the flash in HE is pretty decent, but Jane with 3 kills already to his name's not been forced out of position. He could even be on for the ace if they push into him. 30 seconds now, smoke comes out, good counter flash tossed in. Petra was thinking of going aggro, caught that fully to the face though. And of 20 seconds, VP don't really have to budge an inch. They know that XSET have to fully commit to this side of the map. Zaz trying desperately to fake out to get some of these CTs in close proximity. She decides to go pushing in, wants to die before the end of time. But unfortunately, it will spell a 6-0 lead, and XSET still really unable to get any kind of stranglehold over the map.
Man, VP, James, feeling so confident. Of course, it helps that he's getting these amazing flicks, but look at his positioning here towards the scaffolding at short A. It's just a high-pressure position, getting crunched from A ramp and from that short A, but he knows he's got the backup of his teammates. Cool, calm, and collected is James, and he's rewarded for it. Buster, he's not letting go. He's just relentless right now. He knows he's got the one up, and Kickert is there to back him up as well. And there they are. VP just fall right back into more headshot angles, and James is also there to back them up. This B attack coming out from XSET on this Tech 9 buy, it's not paying off, Vince.
No, and it hasn't so many times, Potter. It's kind of hard to really drill into exactly what the issue is, but we've seen them go for these half-hearted kind of B hits now 5 or 6 times. And it's just not paid off for them a single time. I think the best they've done is forced onto the site when it was basically like a 3v2, and it's where Mimi nearly clutched by herself in like 1v3. But apart from that, I can't really remember them getting any success over on B. And I'm curious at what stage they start saying, okay, screw this. It isn't working. Let's just try some really aggressive ramp hits instead. Or let's take middle control. Because it's not working for them here, Potter, at all.
Yeah, you're right, Vince. And that's one of the tough things about Vertigo is that meta right now. It is all about just pulling the defenders either towards that mid or towards the A ramp. And then 30 seconds left, you just do a contact B, right? That's pretty much what all the top teams are doing right now. But XSET, whenever they go A, they're all going A. When they go B, they're all going B. And the defenses from VP are just too strong to over-rotate or do anything funky like that. This is an expensive round for VP, all things considered. Even Kicker getting pretty low, but we're in that territory once again, Vince, where on Dust 2 we saw 16K across the board for most of the VP members, and right now it's almost double digits for most members. So things could be getting out of hand here for XSET if they don't find a round soon.
Yeah, precisely. When you look at their overall tally of frags coming through into the 8th round, collectively they only have 12 or so kills. Put that in perspective, Kickert has 12 by himself. So it goes to show how dominant these rounds have been on VP side of things. Jane won't be too deterred by that smoke. Actually throws down the Molotov. Giuliano has to throw out her smoke just to keep herself alive. And in doing so, another grenade will be there to greet her. Now, although no kills have gone down early stage, and actually VP come out worse for wear with your Kinder drop to 16, what can they get it done with? Now, we just said before, Potter hit the nail on the head, that they've been very one-dimensional in their takes. Well, here we go, something different. They're hitting both middle and ramp simultaneously, and so far it's yielding a lot of damage, but they've lost the first player again. Mimi comes straight back in, though, taking the head of Sanji and keeping VP interested over on the middle portion of the map.
And that's perfect. That's perfect for Mimi to find the pick, throw a smoke, apply that pressure, and walk, fall back, rendezvous back up with her team. And Giuliano is poking and prodding towards A. And you mentioned it, Vince. Yakindar, he got damaged early on. He's got a passive angle. James is here to back him up. And timing is everything in this round, Vince. But Giuliano finds the opening pick. She has so much map control right now. This could be it. XSET, they have the A bomb site. It should be going down soon, but Giuliano goes a little too deep.
Oof. Krasi holds the line, albeit with 3 HP, puts this into the realms of possibility for VP. James yet to die, 10-0 with 100 ADR to his name. He is low, but still alive, right idea. Wallbang's not quite on point. We'll be getting slow peaked by Petra. Both AWPers do miss the mark. 50% of the fuse is ticked down, and Petra takes some shrapnel. Down to 5 HP. 2 of the members of XSET exceptionally low, but James realizes that his days are numbered. He has to give this up, and XSET will be successful for the first time on Vertigo. And it comes off the back of not being one-dimensional, of keeping their options available, and forcing VP to fully respect their ability to push through mid. And in doing so, it opened up that A site nicely. So more of that, please, XSET.
Really good job. Nice patience to really pull that round through together. Mimi was everything into this round. Even early on, just showing a little bit of sound cues and finding that pick just sealed the deal for XSET. And a tactical timeout coming through.
$16-10 victory over CLG Red. So I suppose that is a 100% record. Maybe VP about to take that away from them. Good to show that they at least can get the job done, Potter. I need to see consistency, though. Before I begin to believe in this comeback, I need to see another 2 or 3 rounds of rock-solid CS. I do like that they've called the tactical timeout, though. Make sure they're all on the same page and let VP sweat it out a little bit.
Yeah, we might need to see a lot more of just that round we just saw. Petra was able to put that damage to Yakindar and push him off this angle, but a lot of aggression coming through from VP. This might catch XSET off guard. Yakindar finds himself a sweaty smoke, but he doesn't get the pick, and that's a lot of damage. He gets taken out by Giuliano through the smoke, and Kicker, he wants to be able to trade that, but he can't. Too much pressure on his shoulders, and James, ooh, this is going to be a tough angle for Petra to hold.
Ooh, but she does it.
Good for it.
Yeah, that's a huge pick. James didn't give himself much room for maneuver either, though. He's kind of stuck behind the fencing. But a great shot from Petra. And again, XSET have the player advantage. Buster, Kicker, and Sanji stand against them. Sanji wants to get aggressive, and Mimi has the angle dead to right, but misses the spray. What an integral, important moment in the round that could end up being. Because now VP have dealt with that backward threat. They've dealt with the flank. Now they can start to push back onto the side. Buster has not moved an inch, not budged a centimeter. He's hiding behind that pillar. And once the smokes and flashes start to come over, he can call to the rest of his teammates to rotate.
None of Buster's teammates have any flash. This first initial kill has to be clean coming from him. And XSET, they don't clear, but crafty good reaction coming through, and so much damage through the smoke. Petra only down to 7. Kicker with a beautiful flank, and Petra, she's got the AWP onto her hands, but Sanji's being so patient.
Only 3 HP as well here, Potter, for Petra. She takes 1 shot. She is dead. Time is running against her. She has to stick the sight. Sanji knows it. In hot pursuit, doesn't miss. There was a brief millisecond where I thought Petra may get the shot off in time. But VP successfully get the defuse. They successfully get an 8-1 lead. At least XSET, though, they're making these rounds close. For so many rounds prior, Potter, it was seemingly like they were just being battered with 5 or 4 players alive. At least XSET are making VP work for their rounds. They're making them earn them.
Absolutely. Just not even the last 2 rounds, but even the money now. The bombs getting planted every round, so they're able to fight fire with fire every round with those guns. So definitely a nice difference from Dust 2. We had so many ecos, so many pistol rounds in that map. This time, though, this A-ramp fight, it's been different coming out of VP. This is just a dry peek. Yakindar, the confidence coming through.
Mixing up the pace as well. No flashes, no smokes, just raw, dry peaks. And although Giuliano does survive after picking up the only kill into Kickert, she's down to 18. Zaz trying to take the initiative, pushing aggressively.
Oof.
Nearly had Buster, but Buster spun around with a flashbang detonating in his eyes and dealt with the Zaz threat. That puts it down to Mimi on 100, with Giuliano, who will be limping through for the rest of this round. It's not looking good for XSET again.
It's not, but Mimi, her game senses are tingling right now. She knows where the rotations are, and she's actually found herself. Make sure she doesn't get the sound cue. That's perfect. 2 versus 2 scenario. Sanji's very low. Actually, sorry, 3 versus 2. But, oh, Mimi does get taken out, and now it's just down to Giuliano. I saw a world where there was a chance there, Vince. I saw a world. But VP, they are able to recover. And just like that, we're into round 11, and VP are 9-1 up.
I was right along for the ride with you as well, Potter. I could see a way where maybe Mimi could snatch this out of the jaws of defeat and get XSET across the line for their second round, but unfortunately VP just a little bit too good. They are busting down some of these economic walls though. Kickert and Buster will be struggling, but time is running scarce in the half, and Yikinda comes to the rescue of Jame, who is getting dry peeked by Giuliano and then doubles up for a second smoke shot onto Krusty. Now Zaz will punish Buster, who gets a bit too aggressive, but Mimi's gone down in mid, and that 2-player advantage keeps intact for VP.
Zaz has been faced off against those pop flashes coming through from Buster every round, and this time she just waits for the sound cue, waits for the flash, and knows that Buster will peek it, and he's punished because of it. And VP are really good at converting these 2 versus 4s. Let's see how XSET handle this scenario. But Jame, he's got full mid control. There's the 1. He knows there's a second. Some jiggles coming up from Petra, but that wide swing is going to be here to her demise. Jame closes it out. I do like the fact that Zaz just won out that duel versus Buster at B stairs, but it just wasn't enough, Vince.
Yeah, and mainly because of Yikinda kicking off the round like this, it could have been very awkward. Giuliano with that first peek nearly had Jame dead. And if Jame crumbled, it's very possible Yikinda would have gone down with him. That would have been the ace side open for business. We could be looking at a very different outcome.
Whoa.
Fast run boost. At the peak, it's beautiful, but Petra gets the shrapnel kill afterwards. And now Yikinda, he has to try and hold the line against multiple adversaries, but he is looking so calm, under duress, under pressure, with the Orc, double frags, and Sanji helps him out. It's only Giuliano left in a 1-on-4, but not for much longer. That jump boost, though, was
We need
so
a replay.
sick.
We need a replay ASAP, Vince. VP are out here styling right now. They don't even care. Jame was just flying. The air time on that boost was incredible. He was in the air for a really long time, but man, what a round to pull that one out. That's just, here it is. He does
So
get
beautiful.
HE grenaded, but you know what? That's worth. That's when you type in all chat if you're Jame and say worth.
Definitely gets style points, even if he went down straight away afterwards. It gave his team a lot of information as well, allowed Yikinda to plant his feet firmly in the ground and hold off. Now, XSET do have a buy. They've already depleted a fair amount of their utility. Actually only have 1 smoke left with 1:25. That is rough, albeit with 3 Molotovs, a position that Buster hasn't really used just yet. They've typically been at the top side of the site. Zaz may very well get peeked in if she goes too aggressive. Mimi, though, gets the first. Buster goes unchecked. Information gathered. Oh, it still loses his life. He was waiting for a second and a third player to show their hands, but Zaz was too quick.
Buster, the mind games that he's been trying to beat out Zaz on, but she's not stopping, Vince. She's going for more. Kicker has to recover, but Zaz has shown up in the server, and she gets herself a 3K. The mind games right now between Buster and Zaz towards that B stairs. I love that our observer caught this moment, because both of them have been trying to sniff each other out all half long. And it's been going back and forth, but this time, man, Zaz just makes a statement for herself.
84 ADR, even though a team are conceding 11-2. Goes to show the amount of impact she's had. Whether she's been getting kills or not, she's been putting down the damage, putting down the pain consistently. 3 players over on this side of the map, though, for VP. with more intel around middle. Buster flashbang over. Kickert's lining up a grenade if he's called upon. The flash comes through and Buster will jump on top of it with 2 frags. He's thrown another 2 players as well, so Kickert will know what's coming up against him, and those players in middle can quickly rotate across. Good Molotov placement though, forces Kickert's hand to put down the smoke. He has to relocate, and James getting wrecked by a Molotov. Jumps on top of the boxes and nearly loses his life. So XSET have done a great job of piercing and probing away the defense, but this is where the superior positioning, the superior aim comes to the forefront, and VP take a 12-2 lead.
Man, VP just cleanse and repeat. Once again, the pop flash coming through for Buster. And it's working. It's working. He's good for 2, sometimes even 3 every time. So XSET seem to not have an answer for that aspect of the B stairs. I do wonder if we see them going back towards this A. That slow default where Mimi is towards mid, 3 players towards this A ramp seem to be where XSET have found the most success. And this time it does look like that's what they're resorting back to. Ooh, Zaz. She peeks a little too early. Kicker has that aim, but he's going to fall back.
Buster had an angle as well. He could see the tiptoes of the oncoming T's before they had a chance to really retort. But there's Krasty. Headshot onto Yakinda, maybe peeking 1 too many times. And Jame uncharacteristically misses a bit of a sitter of a shot. Should be having that one. That gives XSET a chance.
Very uncharacteristic for Jame, but that's why we love his big brain. Even if he misses, he's able to reposition and find a better opportunity for himself. And you see just that. The VP defenses, they've recovered nicely into this round. And although they're a man down, this angle that Kickert has, this is not one that you generally check very often. But Sanji, he might push XSET completely off of this angle. And Mimi, once again, finding the lurk. She's been pretty successful, very successful in the rounds that XSET have won. But this time, Zaz getting taken out early on in B. That's going to spell trouble for XSET here.
Ooh, especially with Mimi going down, they really needed her to stay alive and pivot and pincer in through middle. Krasty, who kicked off the round with a frag, is the last to fall. 13-2 will spell on Vertigo. XSET desperately need to come back, find out if they can, but first, a short break.
Through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, over the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
It is time to see what XSET are made of. 13-2 deficit, a little bit more one-sided than the first half of Dust 2. They did not win the pistol in the first half, but let's see if they can get 3 out of 4. They're pretty much going to have to, Potter, for me. Their main lifeline is this pistol round, and if they do concede, I can't really see how they come back.
Well, they were able to get some gun rounds this time without those pistols that you mentioned. So if they're able to get this one, things could get really interesting. Krasny finds the opening under Yakindar, and they're just barreling through, Vince. They're not stopping.
No, big headshot from Zaz. My goodness, just spinning around left and right. Buster and Jane get destroyed. We never had any doubts about Zaz's aim, and if you did, seeing that AK round where she pummeled Buster and then spun around for a second, and there's a 3K as Sanji falls to his demise. XSET pick up the pistol, and if they can pick up the pace, VP may start to have a few questions and look over their shoulders.
Yeah, at this point, XSET, they're looking to make VP sweat at least one round on this Vertigo side of things, but VP, they haven't been forcing, and it looks like they're not going to this time either. Being very calculated coming into these rounds. Just a P250 on Kickert's back. This should be farm round for XSET. A lot of confidence coming through from Petra, and that's perfect because she's one of the players with the MP9.
Precisely, and those kills put more funds into her AWP fund come the end of this round. Won't be too far away from picking up the sniper, and they'll know at this stage that VP haven't really invested anything, so they'll expect the AKs coming in to effect in round 18. That will be in the back of XSET's mind. Be curious to see if they do upgrade a couple of these guns and don't treat it like a bonus as a result when you're this close to loss, this close to being swept away. Jane, last player in, tries to jump across to the site. The audacity to go for that, by the way, under the nose of XSET. They're not very appreciative. They spray him down. 13-4.
A for effort, Vince. A for effort. Jane, a little ambitious, but you know, we'll let him have that one. And a strong buy coming through for VP. I like the look of this right now. VP, they're not taking any risks, unnecessary risks rather, that will put them in a position to make those unforced errors. So strong buy, but Mimi, she's gone so aggressive. Oh, she does get taken out through the smoke from Yakindar, those tracers giving her away, but Petra at least has an answer of some kind, but XSET, they find themselves 2 men down.
Even though it's not been ideal, I do at least respect and I appreciate that XSET are going for those really aggressive plays because we never really saw it on Dust 2. It was one of their biggest issues. So great to see Zaz now, who's been in some fine form, 92 ADR, 13 kills to her name, in a position to maybe fend off against the oncoming Ts, but she's lost her head. Kicker quickly snaps in after wide swinging with the AK. And now Giuliano and Petra have to put their M4 and FAMAS to use. They do both have kits, they have utility. Incendiary, smoke, a couple of flashes now being tossed out, trying to cordon off a couple of these areas. Jane with the AK, just staying alive, knowing that with the superior players on his side, this shouldn't be going away from them. And Sanji making sure he baits Jane correctly. Giuliano next up to the plate, but she has been dispatched by Kicker. 10-round lead opening up, and XSET in trouble again.
Man, things happen so fast in that round, but either way, VP end up at B, and their post plants are so clean, so polished. And already being man down, that retake at B would have been so difficult, but just Kicker biding his time, that headshot angle, AK versus FAMAS, everything going into VP's favor there. And XSET, they're working with scraps in this round, Vince. They don't have much, but they are going to try to get an early pick, boosting Mimi up onto this short A.
I do like it. I like the idea, and they may get the rewards because the smoke's starting to dissipate. Mimi will catch glimpses of a few players coming up, but can't quite connect for the frag. And now they know 2 of the players are over there. Expect to see a ton of grenades tossed towards their position. Flashes are good. Krasny comes out for 1. Mimi spraying up through the smoke, actually splatters Yakinda, and with nades touching down onto Buster and Jane, VP are kept at arm's reach. They are struggling. They have been submerged.
They only have the 1 smoke on Buster and the 1 flash on Jane. As you say, things have slowed down dramatically here. This is where VP tend to shine, though. Their communication is going to come through, make XSET's defenses sweat it out for a little bit longer and find some of those uncomfortable duels that favor VP. And you can see it. The defense is now spread out just a little bit, but that flank in Zaz kind of seals the deal. XSET don't need to rotate. They know it's going to be A. And just 30 seconds remaining. It's all on to Buster to protect James here. Oh, the smoke comes out at the wrong moment, the wrong time, but it's okay. VP, they should be okay. James, he might even be able to make it out of this situation.
I think he will here, Potter. I think all three of them have lived to tell the tale, but now Kickert's story has come to an abrupt end. It's Mimi that puts him down. Buster's spraying through the smoke. They know exactly where he is. They don't have a kit, though. They need to jump on top of this quickly. The bomb is ticking away, and although the headshot is going to come through from Giuliano, there should be enough time. XSET should successfully get this defused. They'll be able to hold on to some AKs, and proving again that they don't just need pistol rounds. They can get it done when the rifles are in play.
Good retake scenario there. I am surprised at how flustered James looked. He looked kind of out of sorts and uncomfortable. And these, as I mentioned, are the times that VP individuals really step up and seem to turn an extra gear. But XSET, fantastic stuff from them, forcing the issue. And the money right now, it is low for both squads. Such an important round coming into the second half, and James is not slowing down. They have full middle control. Zaz, she has a good idea of it. And that Molotov should slow things down.
As for now, but do XSET bite off more than they can chew? Do they get too aggressive? Because Sanji is waiting. He is hoping for an opportunity to shut this down. Flashbang comes out. Did just catch a glimpse of Petra. A foot protruded around the corner. Sanji will be calling that to the rest of his teammates. This is such a good position for VP. They can pivot off this fully. It forces Giuliano's hand to go out and try and look for him. She overextends. She gets punished. It's a 2-for-1 trade and brings it back onto a 3-on-3. And in amongst all of this, VP taking systematic control over a site.
That double-pronged attack. Good trade coming out from James there. And you're right, Kicker, he's going to get the bomb down here. He might be stuck in a hard place, though. He is able to make it out of there with Yakindar's help. And now, once again, 3 versus 3 post-plant at A. Kicker's flashbang. It's going to be everything for VP here in this post-plant. Just the one flashbang on his back. There it is, being used a little early, I'd say, but James, he's still able to make it work, and Yakindar's deagle just shining from that sandbag.
Oof, Krasi destroyed by Yakindar's deagle. And that often is the case with VP. They may have got a bit premature with that flashbang, but then they were just dug out of the ditch through ruthless aim. Great deagle work and rifle plays. Yakindar here, from his perspective, you can see 2 glorious 1-deags. And now 10 match points. VP very close to knocking down XSET into the elimination match, which will factor in later today. But they are struggling. Their economy is in the bin. 2 MP9s is basically it. They get aggressive, but Petra's ahead of the rest of the pack. And she is plucked out with ease by Yakindar, but Mimi at least does return fire, and that will be a rifle trading hands.
That AK is going to mean a lot, and Zaz is even gone aggressive. Sanji finds himself in mid all alone, all of his teammates dying all around him. He doesn't even have the bomb, but this is surely going to catch Zaz off guard.
A grimace on his face, maybe realizing what's up against him. Player just below. We will be checking, but the timing's quite rough for Zaz. Now gets spotted. Now, doesn't want to make the same mistake that Buster did, remember. Play with his food for too long, because Zaz will punish you. Sanji with the Molotov may afford him the chance of the bomb plant, and now he can start to change up his angles. XSET were out of position. 2 of them were flanking round under ground, and that's allowed Sanji to get into such a good post plant now. He's not sure where both players are coming from, but he has the right angle. There's no flash between the 2 players, and they don't have a kit, so he can play the time. Molly is tossed in, forces Sanji back out towards the open, and Mimi can't stick the sight. She has to come back in, and what a one-tap, what a 1v3, and what a way to end the game for VP.
Wow, of course it ends it with Sanji 1 versus 3. He had so much information there, Vince, so much information. He knew that both players would be flanking, and he's able to seal the deal here for VP. They're looking so damn good right now, Vince.
Like, they haven't missed a beat Potter since winning Flashpoint just a few days ago. It was always going to be a difficult game for XSET, let's be honest. I think they proved a few people wrong. I think mechanically they look pretty damn sharp, and I feel like they're going to have a much better chance in our next game of today, which will happen later on. But of course, we have plenty Counter-Strike before then. We're going to cut to a break, and after a few, we'll jump back to the desk and have them break down that best of 3.
Another strong showing from the likes of Virtus.pro, and again, some pistol magic coming out of the side of XSET, at least showing us that on an individual front they could fight versus the likes of VP, but it sort of ended as it began, Blair, with Sanji just styling on his opposition, winning a 1v3, and, well, putting this one to bed.
Yeah, highly underrated player there, Mr. Sanji. Yeah, the pistol rounds, right? They were really fantastic. We saw some huge moments coming out from Zaz. It was very clear for me personally, gentlemen, that they were not very comfortable here, especially in the first half. You know, they're playing on the T side. They would win a few duels here and there. There was one round where Zaz just ran in and just got 3 headshots off the bat. Good stuff coming out from them, but they were clearly very uncomfortable. And for VP, they weren't trying anything too elaborate. It's just that they were able to just capitalize on a little bit of mistakes being made by the side of XSET, right? So I wasn't too surprised to see the result over here. Maybe if they're able to convert the first pistol round, the scoreline could have been a little bit closer. They've been pretty good with these anti-eco, so maybe it could have been a 16-7, 16-8, but I don't think VP were anywhere close to being pressured in this game.
But yeah, I think that was the big thing, is like, although there were definitely some moments that we were like, okay, that's gone a little bit better, it always seemed to end in a similar fashion. Like, we saw a very strong start from the likes of James. I think he was 10-0, and sure, we might joke about a couple of saves going in there with rounds going the other way, but the fact is, I think they started this game something like 7-0, Maui, so they look good pretty much from the get-go.
Yeah, I would have to say so. I think their pistols were pretty good as well. XSET, it doesn't feel like they have the layers they need to combat a team like VP. We can see that the individual skill is actually there, that when they get a 50-50 duel, you don't actually know who's going to come out on top. So that's credit to XSET, because you think that they would just get battered out of the server for a lot of different reasons, but AIM was not one of them.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, we are going to be joined by a member of the Virtus.pro camp. It is going to be Yakinda, who will be joining, and there goes the doorbell. He is with us once again, and I'm sure he's done plenty of interviews at this point. I've seen his face absolutely everywhere. But Yakinda, you're happy to be with us. A fairly easy victory, I could guess we could say, for you. Did you expect anything less?
I'm happy to be here, and I mean, we expected that we're gonna win, because we're in a really good form now, individually and team-wise. So it happened what it happened.
All right. Our producer told me to tell you this, Yakinder. She said, and I'm probably going to butcher it, so forgive me. Tu labe spelei.
Tu labe spelei, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I nailed it. Boom. Slap on it, boys. I nailed it. But well played overall. Also, my question was, with Vertigo getting picked and Overpass not getting banned out, were you maybe using this match as kind of like an opportunity to just test things out on those 2 maps, maybe?
Actually, yes, because we could be having Vertigo in the playoffs against Gambit or Nemiga, so we wanted to feel the ground on there, because we didn't practice after Flashpoint, where we actually lost 2 Vertigos against BIG and Fnatic, so we needed some space, like, test the grounds there now.
Okay, all right.
Yakinder, I had a question about kind of how you felt the opposition in the server. How did XSET feel as an opponent? Because from our perspective, it actually felt like in some of their mechanical positions, like in a 50-50 duel, for example, they could rip your head off. So, I mean, what felt like a positive of their game from your side?
Well, I mean, obviously mechanical skin, like the raw aim, actually was really good. So you could see some like duels won by them. Like on this 2 especially, we lost quite a lot 1v1 duels. That was really good from them, and this 2 was actually pretty close. If you watch the game, like even though we lost 2 pistol rounds and like the game started bad for us, but we won like 2 versus 5, I think, or 2 versus 4. So it could have gone even more harder for us. So they were playing pretty good, especially aim-wise.
So it's been mentioned, obviously, about your Flashpoint victory, but I want to take a look back a little bit further with how you played during the New York RMR, and we've sort of seen almost the rise of the CIS. Like, you look at this tournament, we've got 5 teams coming from the region, and if you go back a few years, we might have looked like sort of Na'Vi, you had Gambit, and then a huge drop-off. So I wonder, from your perspective, do you feel like maybe over the next year or so, the CIS is going to end up being like the top few teams in the rankings? Because it seems like there's a hell of a lot of talent coming out of that region now.
So like the talent wasn't a problem for like any time, because always there were really good CIS players out there, and even now from like even smaller teams, not the ones that are in top 20, there's a lot of individuals that are really good at their role. But the lack of English doesn't allow them to go international, so the CIS region is just slowly rising, because the higher tier teams are setting up the rhythm of like becoming good. And for example, if Na'Vi set up the rhythm for everyone, then Avangar and Spirit at their time set up the rhythm for like smaller teams as Nemiga, Espada, Gambit are really good now, and like these smaller teams are gonna, well, not small now, but they are gonna like continue forwarding the pace to the higher teams, and overall all the teams are gonna improve and be better at their game. And just, yeah, as you said, it could be possible that we are gonna have, I think, maybe 3 teams in top 10 next year.
Well, it's definitely looking good, and I'm sure Virtus.pro are probably going to be ones up there. I think you're already making a big move with what we've seen from you so far. Thank you very much for joining us, Yakinda, and of course, congratulations again on your victory.
Thank you.
You too.
Yeah, always nice to hear from Yakinda. I want him especially to get back onto LAN. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of him on LAN, but it's going to get loud. It's going to get loud. But to maybe quieten things down a little bit, have a look back at what we've seen so far throughout this match. I believe, Maui, that you have a round breakdown for us from what we saw on Vertigo.
Yeah, so let's jump into it here. This was looking like another pistol victory on the side of XSET. But actually, it was very good retake from VP coming out. So you can see that they have worked on a couple things. Couple flashes coming out here, 3v5 situation, but they're able to isolate these duels very nicely and use the smoke in order to push on forward. And this actually is a 2v4 at one point, but Kickert and Jame are able to recover the situation because of this retake smoke. So just wanted to show that VP were able to actually win one of the pistols in this series. They went 1-3 against XSET, but they did so with some really nice utility and just knowing how to play in this situation perfectly.
Yeah, some pretty clean stuff, and I think this kind of highlights how uncomfortable they were right in this T side. It was a round they should have definitely had in the bag. And for VP, yeah, nothing too crazy. In fact, I feel like VP's Dust 2 was more clinical. It looked much better. Here it's just about them outplaying the side of XSET and just looking way more comfortable in the server overall.
For sure. Well, we can take a look at what this has done to the bracket and how we're going to look at things going forward. Of course, we will be sticking with Group A. If you want to see some of the Group B matches, make sure to check out the B stream. And yeah, not really anything too surprising here, guys. Like Blair, we've seen them fall down into that lower bracket matchup. I'm curious, who do you actually think will be joining them? Like, we got Fours, we've obviously got Espada. Like, if you had to put your money where your mouth is, where are you going?
I might have to go the way of Fours here, because I did come into this tournament thinking that Fours will be switching up a couple of players, but it looks like they're going to be playing with the full lineup. Espada are dangerous. Dexter is someone I do enjoy watching. I haven't had too much of a chance to watch him, to be very honest, but whenever I've seen him play, the guy has been a standout player. If I'm XSET, I'm just keeping a very close eye on these two teams and see how it's going to play out. Like they said, like Yakinda said, they have the individuals when it comes to taking its one-on-one deals. They just need to build a little bit of confidence, and there's nothing to be shamed about losing that way to a team like VP. Like he said himself, that those two maps could have been kind of close, right? So I won't lie, it's still going to be very, very hard for XSET to kind of make it to the playoffs, or at least, try to get a third place in the group here. But there's always a chance. It's Counter-Strike after all.
Yeah, for sure. And, well, speaking of Counter-Strike, there is still another match going on DreamHack CS2. Unfortunately, on this stream, we're going to go to a slightly longer break. That one went a little bit faster than maybe we expected. So go check out the secondary stream. We're going to go, get some food, have some extra Christmas cheer, maybe try and get some tinsel for Blair. He's looking a little bit bland, and that's not up to my standards. So we're going to sort that out, and we'll be back after a short break.